Brothers of Sangaldeep. A breathtaking panorama of the lush and prosperous kingdom of Sangaldeep unfolds. Rolling green hills, sparkling rivers, and bustling marketplaces filled with joyful people showcase a land thriving under benevolent rule. Children play in the streets, merchants trade goods, and farmers tend to their abundant crops. The atmosphere is vibrant and harmonious. The magnificent royal palace stands tall, adorned with intricate carvings and golden domes that glisten under the sun. Royal guards patrol the grounds with pride and vigilance. King Kadog Singh in his 50s, a dignified and kind-eyed ruler draped in regal attire, sits upon his ornate throne. His presence exudes wisdom and compassion. Beside him stands Queen Rupvati in her 40s, graceful and serene, her eyes reflecting kindness and strength. Courtiers and advisors are gathered, engaged in discussions about the welfare of the kingdom.
King Kadog Singh.
Smiling warmly. The harvest reports are promising. Our people will not know hunger this year. Chief Advisor. Bowing slightly. Indeed, Your Majesty. The new irrigation systems have greatly improved crop yields. Queen Rupvati. Voice soft and melodic. We must ensure that surplus is stored properly and distributed fairly, especially to the distant villages.
King Kadog Singh.
Nodding appreciatively. As always, your wisdom guides us, my queen. The court shares appreciative smiles, reflecting the mutual respect and love between the king and queen. Two young princes, Rup, 18, and Basant, 16, engage in playful banter as they stroll through the lush gardens. Rup is tall and robust, exuding confidence and charisma. He carries a finely crafted bow, indicative of his love for hunting. Basant, lean and agile, has a mischievous sparkle in his eyes. He holds a beautifully adorned pigeon in his hands, stroking it gently.
Basant.
Grinning. Race you to the fountain, brother? Rup. Chuckles. You never learn, do you? Very well. Prepare to lose again. They exchange competitive glances before dashing off through the garden paths, laughter echoing through the air. Basant reaches the fountain first, raising his arms in triumph.
Basant.
Breathless, triumphant. Looks like the tables have turned. Rup. Catching up, laughing. I let you win. Consider it a gift. Basant. Playfully. Or perhaps you're just getting slow. They both laugh and collapse onto a nearby bench, catching their breath.
Rup.
Looking at the pigeon. Another addition to your flock?
Basant.
Eyes shining. Yes, isn't she beautiful? I found her near the eastern gates. I think I'll name her Shweta.
Rup.
Smiling fondly. You and your pigeons. Father says you have more birds than the sky itself.
Basant.
Grinning. Perhaps one day they'll carry our messages across the world. A servant approaches, bowing respectfully. Servant. Your Highnesses, the Queen requests your presence in her chambers. Rup and Basant exchange concerned glances. Rup. Rising quickly. Is everything all right? Servant. Hesitant. Her health has taken a turn, my prince. The joy drains from their faces as they hurry towards the palace. The room is dimly lit, filled with the scent of incense. Queen Rupvati lies weakly on a grand bed, her face pale, but eyes still full of warmth. King Kadog Singh sits by her side, holding her hand tenderly, his eyes rimmed with worry. Rup and Basant enter quietly, moving to their mother's side.
Basant.
Voice trembling. Mother, we're here.
Queen Rupvati.
Smiles weakly. My beautiful boys. You've grown so much. Rup. Fighting tears. You should rest, mother. Save your strength. Queen Rupvati. Gently. Seeing you both gives me all the strength I need. She reaches out, caressing their faces lovingly. Queen Rupvati continued. Promise me you'll always look after each other, no matter what. Rup. Firmly. We promise.
Basant.
Voice cracking. Always, mother.
King Kadog Singh.
Voice thick with emotion. And I will always be here for you both. A brief moment of shared love and unity fills the room, despite the looming sorrow. Physicians apply various treatments, administering herbs and elixirs, their faces growing increasingly concerned. King Kadog Singh prays fervently before a grand statue, seeking divine intervention. Roop stares out the window, lost in thought, while Basant tends to his pigeons with a heavy heart. The family gathers around Rupvati's bedside, her breathing shallow. She whispers final words of love before closing her eyes for the last time. A somber procession moves through the heart of the kingdom. People line the streets, mourning the loss of their beloved queen. White flowers are strewn everywhere, and the atmosphere is heavy with grief. The queen's ornate funeral pyre stands ready. King Kadog Singh, dressed in simple white garments, lights the pyre with a trembling hand. Tears stream down his face as flames consume the structure. Roop and Basant stand beside him, their faces etched with profound sorrow. The entire kingdom mourns in unified silence as the sun sets, casting a golden glow over the solemn scene. The chamber is dark and silent. King Kadog Singh sits alone by the window, gazing out into the night. A single tear rolls down his cheek. A soft knock interrupts the silence.
King Kadog Singh.
Without turning, enter. Chief Advisor. Enters cautiously. Your Majesty, the council wishes to express their deepest condolences. The kingdom mourns with you.
King Kadog Singh.
Voice hollow. Thank you. Leave me be for now. Chief Advisor. Hesitant. Of course, sire. If there is anything you need.
King Kadog Singh.
Firmly.
Good night.
The advisor bows and exits, leaving the king alone once more. He closes his eyes, memories of Rupvati flooding his mind. Time has passed. The palace shows signs of neglect, gardens are overgrown, and the usual hustle is subdued. Roop practices archery alone, his shots lacking their usual precision. Basant sits nearby, releasing a pigeon into the sky, watching it disappear into the distance.
Roop.
Lowering his bow. Everything feels different now.
Basant.
Nods sadly. The palace, the kingdom, it's like the light has gone out. Roop. Looking towards the palace. Father barely leaves his chambers. The council is growing restless.
Basant.
Sighs. Perhaps we should do something to help. Mother wouldn't want to see us like this. Roop. Places a hand on Basant's shoulder. You're right. We need to be strong, for her and for father. They share a determined look, resolving to restore hope to their grieving home. Let's continue with the introduction of Chandravati, the turning point in the story, and the subsequent events that lead to Basant's exile. The palace has regained some of its former vibrancy. Banners wave in the breeze, and servants scurry about, preparing for a grand event. The sound of wedding bells echoes through the courtyard. King Kadog Singh stands beside Chandravati, 20s, a beautiful and radiant young woman dressed in rich bridal attire. She is graceful, with a cunning glint in her eyes. The court is assembled, watching as the wedding ceremony concludes.
Priest.
Chanting, by the blessings of the gods, may this union bring joy and prosperity to the kingdom. The priest finishes his blessings, and the court erupts in applause. The king and Chandravati exchange smiles, but while the king's is genuine, hers hides a deeper, more complex intent.
King Kadog Singh.
Contentedly, today marks a new beginning, for both our kingdom and my heart. Welcome, Queen Chandravati. Chandravati. Demurely. I am honored, Your Majesty. I shall strive to be a worthy queen. Roop and Basant watch from the sidelines, their expressions reserved. While Roop nods respectfully, Basant's gaze lingers on Chandravati, sensing something amiss. Chandravati, now settled into her opulent chambers, gazes at her reflection in the mirror, admiring her own beauty. A maid brushes her long, dark hair. Chandravati. Idly. Tell me, is the king always so dutiful?
Maid.
Glancing up nervously. His Majesty is a man of deep devotion, my queen. He cares greatly for you. Chandravati smiles slyly, her eyes darkening with unspoken thoughts.
Chandravati.
Musing. Yes, devotion is a fine thing. But passion? That is what truly makes the heart race. The maid averts her gaze, uncertain how to respond. Chandravati dismisses her with a wave.
Chandravati.
Sweetly. You may go. As the maid leaves, Chandravati's expression shifts from pleasant to calculating. Chandravati kahit, whispering to herself, "Soon, I will have what my heart truly desires." Basant is in the palace gardens, training a new pigeon. He whistles softly, the bird flying gracefully around him. Nearby, Chandravati observes him from a distance, her eyes lingering on his youthful form. She approaches slowly, her footsteps soft against the garden path. Basant senses her presence and turns, surprised to see her.
Basant.
Bowing. "My queen, I didn't see you there."
Chandravati.
Smiling warmly. "There's no need for such formality, Basant. We are family now, after all."
Basant.
Awkwardly. "Of course. Is there something you need?" Chandravati steps closer, her gaze intense.
Chandravati.
Softly. "I was merely enjoying the gardens. And your company. You seem to find joy in such simple things."
Basant.
Trying to stay composed. "These birds, they remind me of freedom, of being able to soar above everything."
Chandravati.
Leaning in. "Freedom, such a tempting thing. But not everyone can claim it so easily." Basant shifts uncomfortably, sensing the tension in her words.
Basant.
Standing. "I should return to my duties. Father will be expecting me."
Chandravati.
Touching his arm lightly. "Stay a moment longer. I rarely get to speak with you, Basant."
Basant.
Politely. "I'm always at your service, my queen." Chandravati's smile widens, a predatory gleam in her eyes.
Chandravati.
Whispering. "You are beautiful, Basant. So full of life. You deserve more than this, more than just being a prince."
Basant.
Stepping back, alarmed. "My queen, you mustn't say such things."
Chandravati.
Advancing. "Why not? You're not a child anymore. You must understand the desires of a woman, of a queen."
Basant.
Voice firm. "We must honor the bonds of family and respect. I cannot betray my father or you." Chandravati's face darkens as she realizes Basant will not yield. Chandravati. Coldly. "So noble. But nobility often comes with a price."
Basant.
Backing away. "I must go." Basant hurries off, leaving Chandravati standing alone, her expression twisting from anger to a simmering rage.
Chandravati.
Muttering to herself, "You will regret this, Basant. I will see to it." King Kadog Singh is sitting at his desk, signing royal decrees. He looks up as Chandravati enters, her eyes red from crying.
King Kadak Singh.
Concerned. "Chandravati, what troubles you?" She rushes to him, throwing herself into his arms, sobbing dramatically. Chandravati. Through tears. "Oh, my king. I don't know how to say this."
King Kadak Singh.
Frowning. "Tell me. You know you can speak freely with me."
Chandravati.
Voice trembling. "It's Basant. He tried to dishonor me." The king pulls back, shocked and horrified.
King Kadak Singh.
Disbelieving. "Basant? No. He would never." Chandravati. Sobbing. "He did, my king. He came to me in the gardens, speaking words of desire. When I refused, he grew angry. I fear what might have happened if I hadn't escaped." The king's face darkens with a mix of anger and disbelief.
King Kadak Singh.
Grimly. "This cannot be true. But if it is..." Chandravati clutches his hand, looking up at him with wide, tear-filled eyes.
Chandravati.
Pleading. "You must protect me and the honor of our house. I beg you." The king, his heart torn, slowly nods, his face hardening with resolve.
King Kadak Singh.
Quietly. "Basant must be dealt with." The atmosphere is tense as Basant stands before the throne, his head held high but eyes full of confusion. Roop stands beside him, concern etched on his face. King Kadog Singh sits on the throne, his expression stern and cold. Chandravati stands beside him, her face a mask of sorrow.
King Kadak Singh.
Voice cold. "Basant, you've been accused of attempting to dishonor Queen Chandravati. What do you have to say in your defense?"
Basant. Shocked.
"Father, you know I would never do such a thing. This is a lie."
Roop.
Stepping forward. "Father, there must be some mistake. Basant would never act dishonorably."
Chandravati.
softly. Why would I lie about something so grave? I wish it were not true, but it is.
Basant.
Firmly, she is lying. I resisted her advances, and now she seeks to punish me for it. The court gasps, and whispers ripple through the room. The king's eyes narrow in pain and anger.
King Kadak Singh.
Voice shaking. Enough. Basant, for your alleged actions, I have no choice but to banish you from Sangaldeep. You are to leave immediately and never return.
Basant.
Desperate. Father, please, you must believe me. Roop. Pleading. Father, don't do this. Basant is innocent. But the king's decision is final. He turns away, unable to meet his son's eyes.
King Kadak Singh. Pained.
Go, Basant. Leave this kingdom at once. Heartbroken, Basant bows his head, fighting back tears. Roop grabs his arm, his own eyes filled with despair.
Roop.
Whispers. I won't let you go alone. I'll come with you. The two brothers share a look of unbreakable bond before turning to leave the throne room. As they exit, Chandravati watches them go, a small, satisfied smile playing on her lips. Roop and Basant ride out of the kingdom on horseback, their faces set with determination. The vast wilderness lies ahead of them, uncertain and foreboding. They pause at the top of a hill, looking back at the kingdom one last time. The palace towers. The landscape is rugged and untamed. Roop and Basant traverse dense forests, crossing treacherous rivers and steep mountains. Their faces are worn with exhaustion, but they press on, driven by the will to survive.
Basant.
Grimly.
I'm sorry, Roop.
You didn't have to come with me.
Roop.
Firmly. We're brothers. We face everything together. I won't leave you to endure this alone. Basant smiles faintly, grateful for his brother's loyalty. The two continue their journey, determined to find a new path. The brothers set up camp in a small clearing. A fire crackles between them, casting long shadows against the trees. Roop prepares a modest meal, while Basant leans against a tree, looking up at the stars.
Basant.
Softly. Do you think Father will ever realize the truth?
Roop.
Sighing. I hope so. But even if he does, it may be too late to change anything.
Basant.
Sadly. I just want him to know I never betrayed him, that I always respected him. Roop places a reassuring hand on Basant's shoulder.
Roop.
He will, Basant. One day, the truth will come to light. We just have to survive until then. Basant nods, drawing strength from his brother's words. But despite their resolve, a heavy silence lingers between them, the weight of their exile pressing down on their hearts. The sun shines brightly as the brothers reach a wide, fast-flowing river. Roop kneels by the water's edge, refilling their canteens, while Basant searches for a safe crossing.
Roop.
Looking up, we're low on supplies. We'll need to find a village soon.
Basant.
Pointing. There's a bridge up ahead. If we cross, we might find help on the other side. Roop nods, and they head toward the bridge. As they cross, the wood creaks ominously underfoot, but they make it safely to the other side. The journey grows harsher as the brothers climb higher into the mountains. The wind howls around them, and snow begins to fall, covering the path in a slippery blanket.
Basant.
Shivering. We need to find shelter. We won't survive a night out in this cold. Roop spots a small cave nestled in the rocks.
Roop.
There. We can rest there until the storm passes. They make their way to the cave, huddling inside as the storm rages outside. Roop starts a small fire, and they sit close to it, trying to stay warm. Roop Santit. Half joking. Remember when we used to play in the snow as kids? We'd build forts and have battles until Mother called us inside. Basant smiles wistfully at the memory.
Basant. Those were simpler times.
I'd give anything to go back to those days. Roop. Softly. We'll find our way back, Basant. Maybe not to those exact days, but to a place where we can be happy again. Basant leans back against the cave wall, closing his eyes. Basant. I hope you're right. The next morning, the storm has passed, leaving the world covered in a fresh layer of snow. The brothers continue their journey, but the cold has taken its toll on Basant. He stumbles, weak from exhaustion and the freezing temperatures. Roop, worried.
Basant, you need to rest.
We can't keep pushing like this. Basant, struggling. I'm fine. We have to keep moving. But as they push forward, Basant collapses, falling into the snow.
Roop,
Panicking.
Basant.
Roop rushes to his brother's side, cradling him in his arms. Roop, fainted. Urgently. Hold on, Basant. I'll find help. Basant's eyes flutter closed, his strength fading fast.
Basant.
Weakly. Don't leave me, Roop.
Roop.
Desperately. I won't.
I'll be back as soon as I can. Just hold on.
Roop lays Basant down gently under a tree, covering him with his own cloak. He then sprints into the forest, driven by fear and determination. Roop stumbles upon a massive city, surrounded by towering walls. He approaches the gates, breathless and desperate. The guards, seeing his ragged state, block his path.
Guard.
Roughly. Halt. State your business. Roop, pleading. Please, my brother is dying. I need help. The guards exchange a look, then one steps forward, eyeing Roop suspiciously.
Guard.
Grimly. You're in luck, stranger. The king recently died, and by our custom, the first stranger to enter the city becomes the new ruler. Roop stares at the guard in disbelief. Roop, stunned.
What?
The guard signals to the others, who open the gates.
Guard.
Coolly. Congratulations, your majesty. Welcome to your new kingdom. Still in shock, Roop is escorted into the city, the weight of his new title heavy on his shoulders. Roop sits on the throne, surrounded by advisors and nobles. Despite the grandeur of his surroundings, his thoughts are consumed by Basant's fate. Advisor. Politely. Your Majesty, we must discuss the affairs of the state. The kingdom requires your attention. Roop. Distracted. Of course. Proceed. As the advisors begin to speak, Roop's mind drifts, haunted by memories of his brother and their journey together. Roop Theo. Thinking. Basant, where are you? Are you still alive? I promised I'd come back for you. The room fades around him as he becomes lost in thought. Back in the forest, Mongol Nath, a wandering yogi, stumbles upon Basant, who is barely clinging to life under the tree. The yogi kneels beside him, placing a hand on his forehead.
It's just hate.
Gently. You're not meant to die here, young one. He carefully lifts Basant onto his back and carries him through the forest, seeking shelter. Mongol Nath's humble hut is warm and inviting. He lays Basant on a bed, tending to his wounds with care. Over the next few days, Basant slowly regains his strength under the yogi's watchful eye.
It's just hate.
Soothingly.
Rest now, child.
Your journey is far from over. Basant, weak but grateful, nods as he drifts into a peaceful sleep. Years have passed. Basant, now strong and capable, walks through the bustling streets of a distant city. He has grown into a man, hardened by his experiences, but still carrying a sense of purpose. He pauses at a market stall, where the merchant eyes him with interest. Merchant. Slyly. You look like a man in need of work. I have a ship setting sail soon. Care to join the crew?
Basant.
Coolly. Where is it headed? Merchant. Mysteriously. To lands where fortunes are made, if you're brave enough to claim them. Basant considers the offer, his mind still clouded by thoughts of his brother.
Basant.
Slowly. I'll join you. The merchant grins, pleased. Merchant. Smiling. Good. We set sail at dawn. The ship is a large, imposing vessel, ready to depart. Basant boards with the rest of the crew, his eyes scanning the horizon as if searching for something or someone. As the ship pulls away from the dock, Basant's thoughts drift back to Roop, his heart heavy with unresolved longing. The ship sails on calm waters, the crew working diligently. Basant stands at the bow, staring out at the endless ocean. Suddenly, a storm begins to brew, dark clouds gathering ominously overhead. The wind picks up, and the waves grow more violent.
Captain.
Shouting. All hands on deck. Secure the sails. The crew scrambles to obey, but the storm is fierce. As the ship is tossed about, the merchant seizes his chance. He sneaks up behind Basant, a malicious glint in his eyes. Merchant. Coldly. This is where your journey ends, Basant. Before Basant can react, the merchant shoves him overboard, sending him plunging into the churning sea. Basant struggles against the powerful waves, fighting to stay afloat. The storm rages around him, and just as he begins to lose hope, a crocodile. Basant struggles against the powerful waves, fighting to stay afloat. The storm rages around him, and just as he begins to lose hope, a crocodile emerges from the dark waters, its massive jaws snapping dangerously close to him. Basant kicks furiously, trying to fend off the beast, but the current is too strong. Just as the crocodile closes in, a bright light illuminates the water. A powerful voice echoes through the storm.
Voice.
Booming. Hold fast, Basant. A blinding light pierces the storm, and a golden chariot drawn by divine horses appears above the waves. Varuna, the god of the seas, stands tall in the chariot, his eyes glowing with power. With a wave of his hand, the crocodile is instantly subdued, retreating into the depths.
Varuna.
Calmly, you have been chosen, Basant. Your destiny is not to die here. Basant, awestruck and exhausted, can barely respond. Varuna extends his hand, and Basant is lifted from the water into the safety of the chariot.
Varuna.
Serenely, you have shown great courage and honor. Now, you must continue your journey, for much depends on you. The chariot lands on the shores of a mysterious island, where the air is filled with the scent of exotic flowers and the songs of unseen birds. The island is otherworldly, a place of eternal twilight and ancient magic. Varuna gestures for Basant to step out of the chariot. Varuna. Wisely. This is the island of the ancients. Here, you will gain the strength and knowledge you need to fulfill your destiny. As Basant steps onto the sand, Varuna begins to fade, his form becoming ethereal. Varuna. Voice echoing. Remember, Basant, the path you walk is one of honor. Do not stray, for the fate of many rests in your hands. With those final words, Varuna disappears, leaving Basant alone on the island. Basant wanders through the dense jungle, guided by an unseen force, until he reaches an ancient temple covered in vines and moss. The temple seems alive, pulsating with a strange energy. Inside, the walls are adorned with carvings of warriors and gods, their eyes seeming to follow Basant as he approaches the central altar. At the altar, a wise sage sits in meditation, surrounded by a faint golden aura.
Sage.
Softly, without opening his eyes. I have been expecting you, Basant. Basant bows respectfully, feeling the weight of the sage's wisdom.
Basant.
Humbly, I seek guidance, wise one. My journey has brought me here, but I am lost. The sage opens his eyes, revealing a deep, penetrating gaze.
Sage.
Knowingly, you have faced many trials, but the greatest challenge lies ahead. To reclaim what is rightfully yours, you must harness the power within you, the power of your lineage.
Basant.
Confused. My lineage? The sage rises, leading Basant to a pool of sacred water. The surface of the water shimmers, revealing visions of Basant's ancestors, warriors, kings, and sages, all noble and strong.
Sage. Solemnly.
Your bloodline is that of great rulers and warriors. The strength you seek is within you, Basant. But to unlock it, you must conquer the darkness in your own heart. Basant gazes into the pool, seeing flashes of his past, his exile, the betrayal, the pain. The images blur, and a reflection of himself emerges, but this Basant is different, stronger, more confident, with a crown upon his head.
Sage.
Firmly, embrace your destiny. Only then can you return to Sangaldeep and restore what has been lost. Basant clenches his fists, determination burning in his eyes.
Basant.
Resolutely. I will not fail. The sage nods approvingly.
Sage.
Softly. Then let the training begin. Basant trains under the sage's guidance, mastering combat techniques with ancient weapons, learning the art of strategy and deepening his spiritual connection. Basant meditates by the pool, visions of his ancestors guiding him, showing him the way forward. Basant confronts his inner demons in a mystical battle within the temple, emerging victorious and stronger. The training is complete. Basant, now clad in regal armor, stands tall and proud before the sage, who smiles with satisfaction.
Sage.
Proudly. You are ready, Basant. The time has come for you to reclaim your place in Sangaldeep.
Basant.
Serenely. I will honor my ancestors and restore peace to my kingdom. The sage hands Basant a golden amulet, its center glowing with an otherworldly light.
Sage.
Gravely. This amulet holds the power of the gods. Use it wisely, and it will protect you in the battles to come. Basant accepts the amulet, feeling its warmth in his hand.
Basant.
Softly. Thank you, wise one. The sage bows.
Sage.
Gently. Go with the blessings of the gods, Basant. Your destiny awaits. Basant stands on the shore of the island, the morning sun casting a golden light over the ocean. He raises the amulet, and a golden ship materializes before him, its sails emblazoned with ancient symbols. Basant boards the ship, which sets sail, cutting through the waves with divine speed. As the island fades into the distance, Basant's resolve hardens. The journey ahead is fraught with danger, but he is ready. Years have passed, and the kingdom of Sangaldeep has fallen into darkness under Chandravati's cruel rule. The people suffer, the land is barren, and the once great kingdom is on the brink of collapse. But in the distance, a figure appears on the horizon, riding a majestic horse. Basant has returned, his armor gleaming in the sunlight, the golden amulet around his neck. The people of Sangaldeep, seeing the figure approach, whisper among themselves. Hope, long forgotten, begins to stir in their hearts. Villager. Excitedly. Could it be? The prince has returned? Elderly woman. Tears in her eyes. It is him. Basant has come back. As Basant rides through the gates of Sangaldeep, the people gather, their faces filled with hope and reverence. He dismounts, raising his hand to calm the crowd.
Basant.
Voice strong. People of Sangaldeep, I have returned to reclaim our kingdom and restore peace. The crowd erupts in cheers, their hope rekindled by Basant's presence. The news of his return spreads quickly, reaching the palace. Chandravati, now older but still as cunning as ever, sits on the throne, her face twisted in a mixture of rage and fear as she receives the news of Basant's return. Messenger. Fearfully. My queen, Prince Basant has returned. The people are rallying behind him. Chandravati clenches her fists, her mind racing. Chandravati. Hissing. He will not take what is mine.
Prepare the guards.
This time, he will not escape. The messenger bows and hurries away, leaving Chandravati seething with anger. Basant leads a growing army of loyalists and villagers toward the palace. At his side is Mangal Nath, the yogi who saved his life, now revealed to be a powerful ally. Together, they march with purpose, ready to reclaim the kingdom. The palace guards, now under Chandravati's command, stand ready at the gates, but fear is evident in their eyes as they see Basant's determined approach. Calmly. This battle will decide the fate of Sangaldeep. Remember what you have learned, Basant.
Basant. Nodding.
I am ready. With a final look at his people, Basant charges forward, leading the attack. Basant fights with unmatched skill, cutting through the guards with precision and strength, the golden amulet glowing brightly around his neck. Mangal Nath uses his mystic powers to protect the soldiers, creating barriers of light and summoning storms to aid in the battle. Chandravati, watching from the palace, grows more desperate, her plans unraveling before her eyes. Basant storms into the throne room, his armor smeared with the dust of battle. Chandravati stands alone, her face pale but defiant.
Basant.
Firmly. It's over.